Hi everyone, in this video we're going to dive into some of our features on Connect and learn how to access and share our Connect webcam and our Connect microphone. We'll also learn how to share your screen so that your students can see what's happening on your screen on your laptop or your own desktop. And we'll learn to use breakout rooms in Connect. Let's go ahead and log in now and see what this looks like. So again, here we are back at our Connect room. Let's quickly review some of our features and buttons in our room at the top. First of all, we have our volume button, and it's green, so it's on. Remember, green is on, white is off. This is our volume for hearing our students, so if that's turned off, then we can't hear what they're saying to us in the classroom. The next button is your microphone. This is what you use so that your students can hear you. Mine is currently muted. I would go ahead and unmute that so you can see that it's working. There we go. So now you can see that it's live and my microphone can hear my voice and it recognizes that I'm talking. Next one here is our webcam. It's turned off. We'll get to that in just one second. And the next button is the one that our students use to raise their hand or to tell us that they have gone to the restroom or to get water. They're not, they aren't at their screen for that period of time. So these buttons are all used by our students as they are in the classroom. All right, starting your webcam. So first of all, we're going to hit this button here on the top right corner. Under video, click Start My Webcam. Now you'll probably be prompted with a question of, do you want to allow access to your webcam for this software? So if you use a Mac, it's probably a small little window that has an allow or don't allow button. If it's a PC, it's probably like a yes/no question. But you'll probably be prompted to give permission to connect to access your webcam. Just be sure that you say yes to that. So I'm going to click webcam. So here we go. You can see me now. Here I am, but my students can't see me. So you notice on my student list here, I've got 3 students, John, Mark, and Mark 2. Those students cannot see me, even though I can see myself and I see that I'm talking and I'm right here. That's because I have not shared my camera. I've turned it on. It's active, but I have not shared it. So be sure that once you turn it on, that you click Start Sharing. And once you do that, now you're live and all of your students can see you. They can see where you are, what your room looks like, what you look like, and they can hear you if you have your microphone turned on. If this is turned off right here, then they can see you, but they can't hear you. So now you're live and you're talking to your students and you're giving them directions and lecturing and teaching. Now it's time to share some of your own resources for the classroom. Maybe you're going to share a PowerPoint or a Prezi or a website, what have you. So you want to take whatever's on your desktop and share it with your students. To do that, you would then click on Share My Screen on this large, gray box right here. But before I do that, just a quick little, heads up. Once you click that button, it goes live, and so just know that whatever you have pulled up on your desktop, your students will be able to see at that moment. So if you have any kind of sensitive documents from work that you don't want people to see, have those things either closed or minimized. If your email is pulled up, my email, I get this little box in the top corner of my screen that says email from so and so. It has a quick little one-line teaser of the email's subject. Sometimes those emails are sensitive staffing information or sensitive budget information. So I encourage you to make sure that your desktop and your email is all clean and closed down, so that they don't see anything that might be sensitive to your job that you would not want them to see. So quickly, let's go ahead and click Share My Screen. Now I have a real short lesson, not lesson, but just some samples of what you could do with sharing your screen. So when I hit Share My Screen, now you probably won't get these same prompts because I have 2 monitors in my office that I use, and so it's asking me which one do I want to share, my main MacBook monitor or my extra monitor. So if you have just one monitor, one computer, you'll probably just get this one option. But I'm going to choose main display. That's my main MacBook monitor. And now you see that I'm sharing my screen. Now, I've got two monitors set up over here to the left, just so I can monitor what my students might see when I do this. And so you all can't see it though, because you can only see what's happening on my screen right here. But just know that as soon as I click start sharing, my students in that big gray box that we saw earlier, my students now see my screen. They see this PowerPoint right here. And they also see my face. So just know that on your end, when you're teaching the class, you'll see what you see right here. You'll see whatever you have pulled up on your desktop, plus this Adobe Connect panel here on the bottom right corner of your window. So just know that your camera is still live. They can still see you. So even though you can't see yourself, they can see you. Just be aware of that. Your microphone is also on, and you can see that as I'm talking, it's recognizing my voice. Anytime that I want to return to my screen, my main screen with the classroom, I click this this first button right here and click stop sharing, and when I do that, I'm back to the main screen where I can talk to my class and do lecture and that kind of thing. So let's go back to share my screen. So let's say that I want to run through a PowerPoint with my class on TCAP and TVOS, and then go to a website to show them more data, and then I want to give them some type of a group assignment that they can do in their breakout rooms. So this would be a sample of what your students might see if you ran through a PowerPoint. So they'll see, this is a slide about TCAP, and we're going to talk about TCAP scores and why they're important, and why we have to look at different subgroups, and why these gaps might exist, and and what do we do about them. Then we're going to talk about TVOS scores, and why is TVOS important? Well, it's growth year to year. It measures a student's score from 3rd grade to 4th grade and so on. Then we're going to talk about why is it important to understand how TCAP works and how TVOS works, and how do those two data systems and assessments work together. Now, after I've done that, I might want to go back to my classroom and talk to my students and get some feedback. What do you think about TCAP and TVOS scores? What did you learn from that brief lecture about TCAP and TVOS scores? And you might have some students who want to raise their hand and give some feedback. So let's say that John here, that John is in the classroom and he wants to raise his hands. Let me go to my student screen here, and let's raise John's hand. There we go. So John's hand is raised. I've asked a question about TCAP. John's got an answer. So I can go to John. I see his hands raised right here, here, and here. I can click his name. I can turn on his microphone and let John share what he wants to share. I can even turn on John's camera if I wanted to, or I can do both, or just just the audio. But I can recognize John and let him talk. So I'm going to go ahead and disable that for now. So PowerPoint, back to my classroom. We talked about the lesson. I asked questions. I got some feedback. Now I want to go to a website. So I'm going to share my screen again. And I am going to go to this website that I have pulled up. And we're going to run through the state report card and look at some different data from, from the state and from different school systems. And we're going to talk about what TCAP and TVOS might look like in these different places across the state, and why we might see different score levels, what have you. So after we go through this site and I point out to them some different important pieces that they might see on the site, and how to find important information on school scores. Now, after doing that, so I've lectured PowerPoint. Now I've done this. I've shown them this website. Now I'm going to go right from this to a group assignment. I'm not going to go back to my classroom just yet. I'm going to pull up my group assignment. I've already got it prompted. It's already pulled up, and it's ready to go. Again, very important that you have this ready. And here's their task. So in your group, talk about why it's important to understand TVOS and scores and the impact that it has on student performance. And also be ready to share out your thoughts with the group on some kind of strategy that you think might be impactful or important to increase mastery of skills. So here's their task. They all see it. It's right there on the screen. I read it to them, so they all know what to do. Now we're going to put them into breakout groups. So let's go back here to my classroom. and they have their task. They know what they know what to do. Now I'm going to go and put them into groups so they can discuss that group assignment. So you click on breakout room view right here. So now that I've clicked on breakout rooms, we're still in the main classroom. Nothing's changed. I just changed what I can see. In my breakout view, I see that I have 5 breakout rooms. I can delete some of these and only have 4, or I can delete them and have just 3, or I can add to this list. So I can add a room and add 5. I can add a room and have 6. I can have how many rooms I want. So for this video, though, I only had just a couple of students. So I'm going to put, in order to do this, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. Let's pull it down just a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to click on John's name, and I'm going to put John in breakout room 1. Let's make sure that goes in there. Here we go. So John's in there. I'm going to put Mark in there. They're going to work together. And not 3. Let's put him there. There we go. So they're in the same room there. There we go. Now they're in the same room. So John and Mark are in breakout room 2. I'm going to put Mark in breakout room 3. Okay. And of course, I can add more students to those rooms if I have more students. Now that they're in rooms, I've got them sorted into rooms. They are ready to start their group assignment and start talking about what it is that they have learned about TCAP scores. So in order to put them into breakout rooms, I have to then click Start Breakouts. So let's go ahead and click this and see what happens. So when I hit breakouts, it didn't really change much on my screen. So if you notice that I just lost that little side toolbar, which you don't really use anyways, on the right side. So you still have the same look of your screen when you start breakouts. Your student screen, which I know can't see on this video, but I can see it here on my desk as I have a student monitor set up. What your students see is very similar. So they see a screen that looks just like it was. So they have a main window for screen sharing. They can share screens with each other, and they have a webcam feature where they can see each other, they can hear each other. So this is the room that John and Mark can discuss this TCAP TVAS question that I've given them. And as John and Mark are talking, they can only hear John and Mark. They can't hear what's happening with Mark 2 in the other breakout room. And vice versa. Mark 2 can't hear what's happening with John and Mark in breakout room 2. But I also can't hear what's going on with John and Mark because I'm not in their room. So I can actually take myself and place myself in John and Mark's room to figure out what's going on in there, and work with them and talk to them and answer questions if they have something that they want to ask me or I want to ask them, right? Or if I just want to listen in. You can put yourself in any breakout room that you want to on that breakout room list, which is a really cool feature. So you can constantly check in on your students. You can pop in and give them time warnings. You can pop in and say, hey, we're going to come out to class in just a few minutes. You can give them more prompts. You can answer questions. And just by simply taking yourself and moving yourself around to the different rooms in Connect. Now I just actually put John back in the main meeting. I didn't mean to do that, but let's put myself back in the main, and John's with me in the main room now. So let's say that we've had some time to talk about this topic in breakouts, and now it's time to end breakouts. So in order to do that, let me put him back where he was. John's going to go into this breakout room. So now it's over, time's up, it's time to come back to the room so we can all discuss our topics and what's happened. All we have to do is hit end breakouts. And when I do that, now everyone's back in the main meeting room, our main Connect room, and we're all hearing and seeing me. And I can then, of course, turn their microphones on or cameras on to hear what they have to say. If you notice, though, I'm still in the breakout room view, but we're not in breakout rooms anymore. We're all together in the main room. So if I just click this first button, I'm then back in that main sort of look where I can see what's happening with my students. If you recall earlier in the video, I expanded this box right here so I could see all of my students, and you're probably going to have 14 or so students in your classroom, just know that when you expand that, of course, you can't see this chat box anymore. So you just need to make sure that you change that back to where you can see what's happening with your chat box. You don't miss any messages.